Hey guys, welcome to another training. I'm super excited to do this one with you. And this is actually going to be a little bit of a change up because based on the feedback that I'm receiving from you, the original title of this training was Hacking Your Competitor. And I think what you're really wanting is to create a Facebook ad that converts. And so you're paying all this ad spend on Facebook, paying Mark Zuckerberg money and placing an ad, and crickets, or just not quite getting the result that you're looking for. And there are key elements that you want to go through when making your ad itself that will allow it to convert. And ultimately, that's what you want. You want the ad to convert, and I want it to convert for you, and I want to make sure that you're going through all these things when you're making your ad. You're taking all these things into consideration so that you can optimize your productivity on Facebook, okay? So that's what we're going to do today. The training is creating Facebook ads that convert. So let's make some conversions online. How does that sound? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to get going. So here we go. Let's get to it. And really simple in terms of the training, but there are key elements that a lot of people miss when it comes to making Facebook ads. And I want to make sure that these things are top of mind. So here we go, creating Facebook ads that convert. And I want you to know that there are three parts to a Facebook ad. There is the image, and we're going to hit heavily on that one today. There's the headline, which you already have, and then there's copy, the things that are written, and we're not going to hit as much on that one today. You already have the headline, which is actually the most important piece of your ad, and I want to show you how to create a compelling image because the image itself after the headline, very, very important, and I think people are picking the wrong things when it comes to the image. And I want to show you some things for that. And copy is going to be really a kind of a lifelong learning process. But at the end, I'll show you an example of one of my ads. Okay, so let's get going. Let's jump into images. So we're going to be in this section for quite a while in terms of these three things: the image, the headline, the copy. We're going to be in the image section for some time. So in terms of your images, you want them to tell a story. And we know that facts tell, stories sell. How can you tell a story with a single image? Okay, so there has to be some level of a story that is framing that person. So when they click on your ad, it's framing them to take the logical next step. So what kind of story would you want to tell that person? So if you only have 30 seconds with this person, it's the whole elevator thing. What would you tell them? And if you have less than 2 seconds through Facebook, they're scrolling through their feed. If you have less than 2 seconds, what story would you want to tell them? And if they do stop and click on your ad, what story are you telling them when they land on, if you're taking them to your website or a landing page, those kinds of things? What kind of story would you like to tell them? So images can do that. Videos can obviously do that. You get to talk to the person. Getting somebody to watch your video, can that be a task as well? Of course, is there a way to create videos that are compelling? Well, sure, there are. I'm going to focus on images today. So images, you want it to tell a story. People love to see faces. People love to see emotion, and people like to see eyeballs. So if you have an image of a person, don't have it to the back of their head. Make sure you can see their eyeballs. This is a critical element to an image. And some of the really great marketers, what they'll do is have a picture of someone, and you see their eyeballs, and they're looking in maybe a certain direction. Maybe they're looking down. You see their eyeballs, and their head's tilted down. And what that's going to tell you psychologically is to look below that person, and what's below them on the Facebook ad. It's the headline. So you have the copy up top, which is all the things written. You have the image, and then you have that really short at the bottom, that really short phrase, that hook, which is going to be the headline. And so there's a famous marketer, Frank Kern. He has images of his wife, and his wife will have her eyes looking in a specific direction. So one of his ads has his wife looking down, and psychologically, what's that telling you? Hey, go look at the headline of the ad. And he's really, really good at these. And so he has that picture of his wife. She's looking down, makes you go to the headline immediately. So there's a bit of a psychological trick to it as well, right? But it has her face. She has an emotion on her face, and obviously you see her eyeballs, right? And it's creating all this curiosity. You think, gosh, what's going on in her brain, right? Because she looks really, really excited in that image. So super cool stuff. Something else with the image, you can have familiarity. Maybe it's a picture of somebody that a lot of people know. So the leader. So if there is a health trend, and maybe you had an image, make sure there's no copyright to it or anything like that. So disclaimer. You have an image of somebody that is leading a movement of some kind of thing, right? It could be you, it could be someone else, right? So there's familiarity with that image. So if you put for example, you put a picture of Oprah, and your avatar follows Oprah, and so you have that image of Oprah, and that's who your avatar is following. Clearly, you're already telling them something when you have that image of Oprah. They're already framing their own mind. They're saying, oh, there's Oprah, I got to follow, right? Maybe you have an image like that. You can also have one of those faces. It just seems like, oh my gosh, this right here, this image, this is the image I want to use because they have one of those famous that just seems like everybody can know, like, and trust the individual, right? Or familiarity. You can have an image of objects, products, devices we all use and love. One of those things, for example, could be the iPhone or the Android, whichever you prefer, right? It can be one of those kinds of things. It can have, it's very familiar feeling when they're scrolling through their Facebook and they see something that they already know and love. Or this can even be animals we interact with or love. So if your avatar really loves puppy dogs and you're trying to get some kind of hook for them to come to you, it has to do with health, but you know they love puppy dogs, and you can have a hook that's compelling about health and the puppy dog, what this puppy dog will say about your health, or something like that was compelling to get them to click, and it had a picture of a puppy golden retriever or whatever. And so your avatar scrolling through Facebook, oh, a puppy golden retriever, how they're affecting, or what they say about my health, whatever. And so now, boom, now they're already clicking. You've got their attention. They're going through your landing page or your funnel or going to your website, whatever, right? So we can create familiarity with our image. You also want to do this. You want to create pattern interrupt. This is a really great one because if they're scrolling through Facebook, they're used to seeing a lot of things, and people have become very numb to ads and pictures that really look like an ad. So if you've got this image and you got it from some website, and I'll show you a couple of those websites. One of them, you can get a lot of images for free on Pexels. So on Pexels, you have just this standard image, and you're using it as your Facebook ad image. It's not really any kind of pattern interrupt. We're so numb to those kinds of images that we're just going to scroll right past it. So you want something that does create pattern interrupt. And this is something that's going to be unlikely, something that's interesting, something that creates curiosity, right? So I'm going to give you some outliers in terms of pattern interrupt, but I think it's really going to drive home a point for you, okay? So in terms of pattern interrupt, if your avatar likes cars, vehicles, trucks, and you put an image of a concept car, so this is an image at a car show, and it's a concept car in terms of a truck, but if your avatar likes this, ooh, what's this, right? So it has an image, maybe a headline, something like that, but this is going to create pattern interrupt in their newsfeed. And if this is the kind of thing that they like, boom, I already got to have your attention, right? Or here's another pattern interrupt. You think, what in the world? this is the most disgusting picture. I can't quite look at it very long, but I don't know what I'm really looking at. It seems kind of like a burger. I guess that's meat. There's some kind of sauce on it. It's wrapped in lettuce, so some kind of lettuce wrap thing. And it says this toxic vegetable is the #1 danger in your diet. So clearly this type of image is creating pattern interrupt. And even though I think it's gross, even with the headline that's compelling like this, #1 danger in my diet, hey, what is that? It's creating enough curiosity and it's compelling enough that even though I don't like the image in terms of, ew, I think it's gross, I'll click on it. Isn't that interesting? Have you ever found yourself on Facebook saying, man, what in the world? It's like a bad train wreck, but you still click because it's almost like you've got to have closure on what in the world this is, right? But when I'm clicking, now they have my focus. Now they have my attention, right? Or this type of image, it's really tough. It's really hard. So obviously a fist, it's gripping something, and typically holding a cigarette, you don't hold it in this way, right? But it's just smashing them. And 5 tips for overcoming bad habits. I think this image is showing a level of strength. Obviously it's overcoming the cigarette, but this is a different type of image. You don't necessarily just see this type of thing on Facebook. So an image like this is going to create really good pattern interrupt. Or something like this. You think, what in the world? Immediately you see this thing, and then you see this skull carved out, and it says 5 common foods surgeons are now calling fatal foods. And it looks like it's an avocado. You say, no, avocado is the greatest thing. And now you're already having this mental game. You're already arguing for the avocado, for example, right? But that image right there did something to you, and it's going to create pattern interrupt. You don't really see these images on Facebook, so you'll stop, think, what in the world? Is that an avocado? They carve a skull? What? And fatal foods? No, it's not. Boom. That person has your attention. So if you want to create that same type of image for your avatar, because your avatar is really, really into nutrition, maybe you used an image like this and had some kind of headline like this because you wanted to get a whole bunch of people to your nutrition class. And so you put a picture of an avocado and it's carved out like this, and you say some kind of compelling headline, but what you're doing is really drawing a line in the sand, even with the headline. And so you're framing this person. When you frame this person with this image and this headline, they have a very specific feeling going to their logical next step, which is your website or landing page or sign up page to come to your class, those kinds of things. But you framed them in a very specific way. And that's a beautiful thing that you can do specifically with pattern interrupt, right? So I'm drawing my line in the sand. It's something that's kind of out there. It's different. So these images may be something you pick. Or this kind of grosses me out as well. This was used as an example, so I'm going to use it as well. It says, how to fix aging skin. Do this every day. And it seems like it's a hand and it's wrapped in some kind of plastic something. I'm not really sure. But if you're thinking, oh my gosh, what in the world is that? You're creating that really compelling, hey, I need closure on this. I need to figure this out. But I'm also creating the pattern interrupt when I have those kinds of things. So obviously these are very out there type of examples. But with Facebook, people are so numb to the regular, everyday images, these stock photo images, that using those at this point isn't going to be very compelling. Your cost per click is going to be much higher with those kinds of things. If you have pattern interrupt images, your cost per click goes down. Your relevance score is actually going to go up. We'll go through that here in a little bit. But those are good things. So using pattern interrupt to your advantage can be a game changer in terms of Facebook ads. Colors. You want contrasting colors. Do not use Facebook-like colors. What are the Facebook colors? Blue and white. Don't use blue and white, right? It looks like something from Facebook. And even with Facebook's trying to tell you something, you're dismiss. I don't care. I want to get to my newsfeed, right? That person is going to scroll right past you. They're not going to pay attention, think, oh, this is Facebook's type stuff. You've got to use something different. So contrasting colors that are not Facebook. What's a color that is not Facebook at all? Orange, green, those kinds of things. Use those kinds of colors in terms of your images. Maybe you oversaturate your image. That really makes it pop, which is really a great thing. So if you had an image, and I think I have an example in here, an image of a computer, and it's really oversaturated with orange, something like that, just as an example, then it's going to create that pattern interrupt. It's that scroll stop type of idea, because they're scrolling really, really fast, and I want them to stop and see my ad. But oversaturation will do that. Something else that works really, really well using grayscale or black and white, there's something that's very classic about it that we can all appreciate. It's something that's different that we're not really seeing. We're really in a color world, and going back to the black and white world is a bit of a pattern interrupt. But there's also an elegance with black and white images that can be very appealing to your avatar. You can also have images that are product demo, that are story-based, action image. It's going to create pattern interrupt. You can see the person actually demonstrating the product, and the congruency in the text, whether it's the headline or the copy. You're going to see that, and congruency in the landing page. So they click on the ad and they land somewhere else. It's called a landing page. So you can do those kinds of things. So as an example, this is a product demo. And so it's an action image. It's telling a story. You're thinking, what in the world is that little boy doing? He's standing in water that seems murky, and he's hunched over. It looks like he has a straw that he has in the water, and it looks like it's actually going up to his mouth. So is he drinking this murky water? What in the world is going on? And so what do? You can't quite see his eyes. His head is down. That may even psychologically tell me, look down, go down to the headline. So what's the headline? Where should I ship your survival water straw? A survival water straw? What in the world? So if this is appealing to the avatar, a survival type of person, right, those kinds of people, then this type of image will grab, right? So a prepper type of idea, this is really going to be appealing to that demographic. So this is a very, very good image. So where should I ship your water straw? This straw will filter 30 plus gallons of water to help you and your family survive when water becomes scarce. It filters water from almost anywhere. And so Survival Alpha, I have 500 of these ready to ship today. Make sure you get one while this batch is available. I've already paid for your survival straw. Just cover the nominal shipping and handling. But this image does all those things. It's story-based, it's action, he's doing something, it's pattern interrupt. This isn't really something you see every day. He's demonstrating the product. There's congruency in the text, and there will be congruency in the landing page when I click on the ad, right? So this is an excellent product demo image that goes perfectly with the headline, the copy, and certainly frames me into the next step. Compare and contrast. You want to throw stones. You can even do a product demo here. And it can also be it needs to be very congruent to the audience. So car racing fans, for example, here's something that's compare and contrast. Fiber fix, 100 times stronger than duct tape. So over to the left, you have an image, and over to the right, you have an image. And they've done something, they've shown an image of duct tape over to the right. And so this one's supposed to be the bad one. And so what they did was they made an icon that's red with an X, meaning this is a no-go, right? And the one to the left has an icon that's green. Green means go, right? Psychologically, that's what we've been taught, and has the check mark. And the image looks a lot cleaner with their fiber fix that they've used. So they've taped these things up under the hood of this vehicle. And so they're showing the good and the bad. There's the compare and contrast. And they're saying it's stronger. Hey, we're ready to ship this out today. So you could use these types of images, a compare and contrast type of image. You can use a retargeting image, and this will create pattern interrupt. There's familiarity with the image. It needs to have a very clear message. It can even create the social proof, social pressure. So a retargeting image can be something like this. So Russell Brunson, famous marketer, has an ad like this, and It's, we noticed you left without completing your order. That's crazy. Just click here to get a copy of Expert Secrets free. Just cover shipping and handling. So this is for the person that had gone to expertsecrets.com. They were entering their information and then they left the page. And so a retargeting image is, hey, I want to know all the people that came to my site, did something, but didn't complete it. And then on Facebook, automatically, boom, you put an ad right in front of that individual. And this has to do with Facebook pixels, which we'll talk about in another training. But they're using Facebook pixels that's embedded on their website. And everybody that comes to their website only completes part of it and then leaves. Boom, over on Facebook, they're retargeting automatically, getting into that person's news feed saying, hey, you didn't get your book, right? And it even has pictures of people that line up really nicely with Russell Brunson and his Expert Secrets, his ClickFunnels. So the person over to the far left, it says, did you? That's a picture of Russell Brunson. And others that work within ClickFunnels has images of them as well. So down at the bottom, Steve Larson. So it has all this stuff that has to do with ClickFunnels, and they're all holding the book Expert Secrets. Did you forget your book? And they're getting retargeted, right? So there's familiarity right there. There's pattern interrupt. And a beautiful thing that this image has is, in terms of the pattern interrupt, it looks like those are Polaroids, right? Remember the old Polaroid? You have your camera and you take your picture and it spits this thing out. It has that physical copy and you have to shake it or whatever. Maybe you're not supposed to shake it. I don't remember. And ultimately the picture comes up and it looked like this. These look like Polaroids. So this creates another element of pattern interrupt, right? So pattern interrupt, the familiarity. Hey, I recognize these people. There's a clear message. Hey, go get your book, right? The social proof. Hey, everybody's got their book. And the pressure. Hey, you don't want to miss out. That's crazy. So come get your book. So you can even have a retargeting image, right? Color saturation and device story. Okay, so this one, we're going to show the colors and the story with the timer showing. This is what I was talking about a little bit ago in terms of saturation. So I think this ad, they've done a great job of saturating the image. So they just have a picture of a computer and then another monitor and then the phone, right? But what they did with the image, they oversaturated and made it really orange. So this is going to really pop when somebody's scrolling through their Facebook, right? And the headline is the CRM that takes 25 seconds to set up, but saves up to 124 hours a year. And I think something that they did was really good. On the phone, there was a timer, and they set that timer. And so it's less than 25 seconds. So they're framing this idea, right? It takes less than 25 seconds to set up. Hey, we'll clock it. It takes less than that, but it's going to save you 124 hours a year, this software that they have, right? So they're doing several things in terms of the color saturation, the device. So that device right there is telling a story. Hey, this is a quick thing to do, and it's going to save you. So they're making it to my benefit, right? So the time saver is my benefit with this ad. I think they've done a great job with it. You can have a testimonial image ad. You can have it with a grayscale, make it story-based, emotion, and you can accompany the testimonial in text above and a free plus shipping. So F plus S is free plus shipping. Hey, I got this thing. It's free. Just cover the shipping. And that's called a call to action. So CTA is a call to action. Free plus shipping call to action. So let's look at that. Russell did a great job with this one as well. So he's got this ad, and you see the image. It's grayscale, and it looks like the guy's praying. You think, man, what's going on with this image? So there's the pattern interrupt. There's the scroll stop. They're scrolling through their news feed, and now they're stopped. And you think, what in the world is this guy doing? Make sure you get a copy of this book while it's still free. Just cover shipping and handling. What do you mean book? I'm not sure. He's praying. You're talking about a book. And now I've got to go back up to the copy, and I'm going to read the copy. And the copy is a testimonial. And this testimonial is saying, hey, this book you have, Russell Brunson, has saved my life in so many ways, right? And so they put that testimonial as a part of the copy. And then down the headline is, hey, get your copy of the book. And he's praying in terms of the image. So he's telling a story. Hey, thank you so much. I got this book. It's changed me in so many ways. So this would be a testimonial image. And I think this one does a really great job. of using a testimonial to Russell's advantage, right? He's able to expand his reach, share more books with an ad like this. Here's another testimonial image ad. So somebody bought the book and now they're holding the book. And I think a couple of the reasons this book is great is the background is not blue. So you got the reds and those kinds of things. And she's holding up the book. And she's even got her t-shirt that she got from Russell Brunson. It says #funnel hacker. So he's really embraced the idea of everybody that gets this book, hey, we're all funnel hackers. And so that's what they're pounding on their chest, and that's that tribal calling. And so she's wearing the shirt. She's wearing the shirt, holding the book, took a picture of herself, and gave a testimonial. And what you can do is use this to your advantage, this kind of thing, make an ad out of it, right? So she's got the shirt, the book, and I also certainly love the contrast of color versus the typical blue and white that you see on Facebook. You can also have a thought leader plus product image. So it'll feature the product, the leader. You can have good contrast color, the social proof text, the irresistible offer. So all those things. And so an example of that, obviously Russell again. And so it has the leader. He's the leader of a movement. And so what he does is free people from the 9-to-5, allows you to become an entrepreneur and change the world through his book, right? And so he's the leader of the movement. He's got his book in hand, free book, get your copy now and get my best-selling book for free. So he keeps saying free, free, free. He's even got a testimonial and endorsement from Tony Robbins up top. So that's his copy. So super, super easy, simple ad right here, but highly effective. I don't know the numbers on it, but I'm sure this ad was highly, highly effective. Come on, computer. Canva. Let's go over to Canva real quick, and I'm going to show you a couple of things you can do over here. So I've pulled up Canva here in my account. You can have a free account, you can have a paid for account, you can have plenty of things to do with the free account, so use that. And a couple of things about what you can do in here. So I clicked create a design, and you can make social media posts, you make documents, blogs, marketing materials, social media and email headers. You can do all kinds of things. Ads, so a Facebook ad, if you're making a Facebook ad, it's already sized to the proportions that Facebook wants. So if you clicked on that, all right, I want my Facebook ad. And so what they're going to do is come up with a whole bunch of images or layouts. Over to the left, you can make whatever you want, but they're going to come out with some layouts. And some are free, some you got to pay for. So something you can do is click free only. And then you can search. Maybe you want a picture of an apple. You're doing a nutrition class and you want a picture of apple and you want only free. Okay, so for yours, maybe let's just click one of the very first ones. So now you've got an apple, and I'm going to size this. So the image itself wasn't sized to the Facebook ad situation, so I've got to resize it. So this is the way the image would show up. And then I can even filter it. So if I want it to pop a little bit more, I can pick one of these filters and go with something else, right? So maybe it was something like that, and it's dark, it was different. You can even do advanced options and just change them yourself, or you can pick one of their options. So there's the grayscale. Let's stay with Epic. And so now I've got my image. You can put words on here. You don't want this to be too wordy because this is supposed to be your image, not any of your headline or copy. And Facebook will actually disprove you if you have more than 20% of this image as wording. So you don't want to be disapproved. You want to be approved when you're submitting your ad for approval. So maybe you put in an element, just show you how easy this stuff is. Maybe you did something like this. And let's go make this a different color. And I'm just making a box, and then I want it to be a little transparent like that. And this is simple to do, guys. If you've had practice, and I don't even know if these colors match, I'm colorblind. See, I have to run everything through my wife. Maybe we I'm gonna leave it over here. And then I want to put text on it. And so it has all these different types of text you can add. And so I just clicked on one really quickly. Let me get rid of these pieces. And then you can say whatever you want to say. How an apple a day is toxic for you. And you think, no, don't tell them that. You've got to have something compelling and is going to get curiosity, right? We got to remember all that stuff. How an apple a day is toxic. And maybe your class isn't even nutrition. Maybe you're doing a class on GMOs and the fact that apples are one of the worst in terms of GMOs, for example. Okay, I'm just saying stuff, I'm spitballing here. But that would give you reason to have some line like what I've put right here, right? So that gives credence to, hey, an apple a day is toxic to you. Yeah, because eating that stuff, frankly, you're eating a whole bunch of GMOs. So maybe make that a little more transparent. Let's change this. Maybe we had a color like that. And I'm just playing with this. You can obviously do whatever you want on here, but maybe this is my ad. So I have an image. It's of apples. How an apple a day is toxic for you. Done. Maybe that's written underneath as my headline as well. And I'm trying to drive traffic to my GMO class. Boom. I'm already there, right? So it's super simple. You see how easy it is to use the layouts, the elements, which is that box that I made, and you change the color and you change the transparency and all those things. You put text in there. You can upload your own images. So I've used plenty of images you see there. So I've actually deleted a ton too. But you can upload your own images, that kind of thing. You can use their layouts, and they've got incredible layouts. So you can just start scrolling through here and find something that really works for you, instead of saying, oh my gosh, I don't know how to make all that stuff. You don't have to. They've already done it for you. So they've got this kind of stuff, okay? So super simple, super cool stuff. Canva.com, C-A-N-V-A, Canva, and go there and you can start making your images. Let's get back over here. So we've covered Canva and the headline. Now that we've gone through image, we're going to quickly run through headline and copy. Headline, you've already made this. This is your hook, and this is something to create ultimate curiosity. So if I'm going to say an apple a day is actually toxic, there's curiosity there because that goes against the grain. There's pattern interrupt with it, and they're thinking, wait, what? I was told an apple a day keeps all these other things away, and I'm absolutely going against the grain with, hey, this is toxic for you. So I'm drawing the line in the sand, all that stuff. And now I'm creating the curiosity they want to click. So that's what you do with the headline. And you've already created that, and just start playing with that as you frame your image. Whatever your image is, your headline needs to be very congruent with that image. It needs to frame that person to the logical next step. So the copy, the headline, and the image need to logically frame that person from Facebook to your website, to your landing page, to your sales funnel, right? If you don't do that and there's incongruency, they're leaving, they're bouncing, they're not going to stay, right? So all these things have to tie in very congruently with each other, leading that person to the logical next step. Because if I say how this is actually toxic, I've got to answer, why is it toxic, right? That's the logical next step, and that's what needs to be on my landing page, if that were my ad. The copy. When you write copy, it needs to be to their benefit. not yours. People don't really want to hear about you. You can do that, and I'll show you mine. But I'm telling a story, and I make it to their benefit ultimately. You want to make it compelling because you want the person to click. And telling a story with the image, the headline, the copy gets them to click. And so what I did, I actually used an image from the bootcamp and me doing my talk. So here's my ad. Here's a copy of it. This was taken about 12 hours after I got it going. So if you look at the image, that's the image at the boot camp of me doing my talk. And so everybody's there, everybody's got their phones up and they're all taking pictures. I'm standing there and obviously there's something on the screen, but you can't quite make it out. So this image right here is telling a story. Hey, whoever that guy up there is, these people want enough of it that they're pulling up their phones and taking pictures, right? And so my headline, how I got this crowd to say, shut up and take my money. That was kind of the joke that night. Hey, my goal is to get you to say, shut up and take my money. My website that I had to go to ultimately was basically the same thing, right? And so I'm using that as a hook because, or my headline, because it's something, hey, this is different. You did what? How I got this crowd to say, shut up and take your what? And this is the mobile version, by the way. The desktop version you could see is shut up and take my money. It was all written out. So the image and the headline are very congruent with one another. How I got this crowd. So I'm up there speaking, so it's giving me credibility. The image gives social proof because multiple people are sitting there watching. So there's that social evidence, the social proof, and how I did this thing, how I got them to say, shut up and take my money. And so the copy up top is me telling a story, which is really another pattern interrupt. I'm flipping on its head again. When I told my wife what I was doing, I thought she'd flip. Insert emoji. Emojis work fantastically well for ads. I definitely encourage you to use emojis. When I told my wife what I was doing, thought she'd flipped, as most people would in this case. I mean, when people ask me what I've been up to this past year, and then I say, quote, I quit my job as a, you think, wait, what? What's going on here? So that person is going to click. So ultimately what happened with this ad has done insanely well for me. People will pay for their ads for the people to click. So it's called cost per click, or CPC. And they may be paying $2, $3, even $4 for these ads. Now the type of ad, there's a whole bunch of objectives within Facebook, and I'm going to go through that in another training. This one is traffic, and that's the one I use the most. And you can get a whole bunch of video views for under 10 cents a view. I've had them as low as a penny a view. The thing is, it's counting views, not clicks. So the click rate, the dollar amount goes higher. If you use it as traffic, it's going to be lower. So overall, this is going to be a cheaper ad. And so that's why I want to run it as traffic. And so I ran my objective as traffic, and people are paying $2, $3, $4. This ad, I'm under 80 cents per click, which is good. If you can keep it under $1, you're doing really, really well. The relevance score, so Facebook will rate how well your ad is doing, how relevant it believes your ad is based on how people are responding to your ad. Are they liking it? Are they sharing it? Are they commenting? And I had a whole bunch of those right when I put the ad up. And they'll usually start you at about a 5 in terms of a relevance score, and it goes 1 to 10. And then it begins to climb if your ad becomes relevant. Within 12 hours, my relevance score was a 9 on this ad because I had already added in the key ingredients. I had the copy, which was telling a compelling story. I had a storytelling image, and I had a compelling headline. So I'm not saying this to boast. I'm saying I'm following the exact same sequence I'm telling you right now, and it works. And this ad is proof positive that, hey, this stuff works, okay? And so how do you measure your success? I've hit on this. This is the last slide. You measure it by the cost per click. And then once they get to your website, then you start measuring other things, some click-through rates and bounce rates and just a whole bunch of other stuff. And that's not what the training for today is about. So the training today, I want to measure specifically for my Facebook ad. I want to know, what is my cost per click? How much is it costing every time somebody clicks on my ad, right? And if it's really, really high, then something's up. And my relevance score, 1 to 10, I want it the highest it can possibly be. If it's low, then I want to know why. If you've got a relevance score that's a 4, 5, 6, then something's going on with your ad that is not good. So you can check those things. Your CPC, your relevance score, as you're running an ad on Facebook, and it's through, let me show you real quick. It's through an app. I've got a whole bunch of apps on my phone, but it looks like this. It says Facebook ads right here. And it'll pull up, and you can go into your account, and it's taking forever to load. You can go into your account and look in there, and it's going to tell you your relevance score and the demographics, who's clicking, is it male, female, what's their age, all kinds of things. So I just manage it from there. I don't edit my ad from there ever, but I can go in there and see, hey, how many clicks do I have? What's my cost per click? All these things, right? So get that app, download it, and watch your ad, monitor your ad on the fly with that app. Super, super simple. So hopefully you enjoyed today's training, got something out of it. Obviously the image is important, the headline, which you already have, the hook is important, and the copy is really going to be that lifelong learning thing. But there's several things you can do to the image to get scroll stop, tell a story, pattern interrupt, all kinds of things to get that person to click, and that's exactly what you want. And when you're including these elements, you're certainly going to get a Facebook ad that converts. Thanks for checking this out today, and I look forward to meeting with you on the next training.